Another peaceful night passes in the woman's dormitory. After the lights go out, Rei thinks about the one who makes sure the nights stay calm. Suigen fights a horde of monsters called the Undead and successfully defeats them. A year before all of this, he was an ordinary student who had no family and had to do various jobs to survive. While working as a pool cleaner, a guy threw his cat into the water. Suigen, although he does not know how to swim, jumps into the water. He later wakes up next to his friend Ransho, who tells him that he was saved by Rei, a rich girl from their school. Suigen continues to clean and remembers how she saved him. A guy and a girl are in a graveyard on a date, and a moment before something happened between them, they see a tail silhouette with red eyes and run away in fear. It turns out to be just Suigen working as a graveyard guard. He takes out his computer and starts playing a game he is very good at. While playing, he meets a not-so-good girl and helps her defeat the monster. She thanks him and introduces herself, but before he can answer her, his computer shuts down. He tries to fix the malfunction and climbs the pole, at which Rei opens the window. Thinking Suigen climbed up to spy on the girl, she throws a pillow at him and calls him a pervert. The next day, he works as a window cleaner at his school and happens to see Rei playing a game and realizes that she is the same girl he played with last night. Ransho tells him that if he wants something with her, he has to make an effort because she is like an idol at school. In the men's dorm, he thinks about her but knows he's way out of her league. He is only strong in the game and has to do different jobs to survive, while she is one of the richest people in the school, so it is enough for Suigen just to play games with her. He then receives a message from her where she offers him to be her partner in the game, to which he agrees. Later, he receives a notification that the server on which they play together will be shut down. The whole next day, Suigen is sad because the server will be shut down, and he won't be spending time with Rei anymore. During this time, she is with her father who gives her something and tells her to use it and follow the instructions, only if something goes wrong. She doesn't understand what it is about, but doesn't get an answer from her father. That evening, Rei enters the game that will be shut down in a week and waits for Suigen. She learns from other players that there is an item in the game that will grant one wish to whoever finds it. The rest of the players go searching, and Rei is left to wait for Suigen. The two meet and continue to play together. Then Rei tells Suigen that she wants to find a thing called the Evening Song Flower. She wants to find it at any cost, and Suigen decides to help her. During that time, the promotion of the new game named Gravebuster takes place, in which the ultimate power will be financial. The one who pays the most will be the strongest, and the person who made the game is Rei's father, Yuki. The time has come for the game to shut down, which makes Suigen sad. Rei is waiting for him and he is late because of work, and now he is in a hurry to get there before the game shuts down. Meanwhile, Yuki is in his office, and a woman who turns out to be his coworker appears and threatens him with a gun. Rei is still playing the game, and a monster appears and attacks all the players. Meanwhile, the woman asks Yuki to open the tomb, but he refuses to tell her, so she kills him. The monster also attacks Rei, but Suigen saves her. Although she thought she failed, Rei found the flower she was looking for, but in the end, the monster took her. The next day, Rei meets up with Suigen in real life, and it turns out that she knew she was playing a game with him. She thanks him, and he starts crying because he didn't manage to defeat the monster. The police are investigating Yuki's death, and Suigen rushes towards Rei after learning of her father's death. There, he learns that she has already left and will not be around for a while. A funeral takes place attended by the murderer. Suigen is watching everything on TV, and he suddenly recalls a memory with Yuki. The next day, Rei invites Suigen to come to her place to give him the item her father left her. It turns out to be a device created for playing a new game that he specially intended for Suigen. Then Rei reveals to him that Yuki is not her biological father. He adopted her when she was very young. Their conversation is interrupted by a member of staff who tells Rei that he has guests ahead. She leaves and Suigen turns on the device. Then the message that Yuki left for him turns on. In the message, Yuki tells him that he is actually Suigen's grandfather. He adopted Rei after her parents were killed by a mutual enemy. He also left a large amount of money for Suigen so that he and Rei could live happily. During this time, the man who gave the speech at the funeral and the girl who killed Yuki meet up and go to their associates called Precious, and their leader is Dark Tiger. The people who came to Rei actually came because of his father's debts, and now they want to take her away. Suigen attempts to fight back, but is quickly defeated and those people take Rei away. Suigen checks his device, which contains over 10 billion in-game currency, and is depressed because there is no point if he cannot use this money in real life. He decides not to give up and chases them on his bike, and almost manages to save her, but they elude him. Then, a mysterious man named Silicom appears in their car. He destroys the car and kills 2 men and takes Rei with him. Before he left, he relays a message from Tamunji telling Suigen that he is waiting for him at the Gravebuster. At home, Suigen tries to start the game but fails. Then a woman named Twin Star appears, who addresses him as Master. When they arrive, she transforms into 2 star-looking creatures. It is also revealed that there are more people at that region of the game. Suigen encounters a creature that asks him to pass a test. He is uninterested until the creature tells him that it will help him save Rei. They are then attacked by a group of Tomb Raiders, and Suigen's test is to help the creature defeat them, so he agrees. The creature then summons Shastia, who removes the seal from Suigen's memories, and he now remembers his grandfather. Then, it turns out that the creature is actually controlled by Yuki, that is, the data he saved before his death. The Tomb Raiders attack them again, and Yuki shows Suigen the robot he will use in battle. At first, Suigen doesn't know how to use the robot. Soon, he manages to find a gun, with which Shastia fires at the enemies, but they repel the attack. Then, one of the Tomb Raiders, Phoebe, uses her cards to hypnotize Shastia and make her shoot her targets. Suigen manages to temporarily stop Shastia. During that time, the data his grandfather left behind is erased, so Yuki leaves him again. Before disappearing, Yuki tells Suigen that he is the last guardian of the tomb, and that by guarding Bango's tomb, he will also save Rei. After that, he disappears, and Suigen attacks the enemy. He uses Shastia to defeat Phoebe, and now faces the sniper Ieu, whom he easily defeats. After the fight, he says goodbye to Shastia and moves on to the next stage, where he encounters a woman who informs Suigen that the last guardian is her, not you, and shoots him. Suigen wakes up in the real world, his wound instantly healed. Then, he gets a call from Temujin, who tells him that he is waiting for him at Gravebuster and sends a picture of Rei. Gravebuster gains enormous popularity and quickly spread throughout the world. Suigen learns about the game that it is controlled by Dark Tiger, who is also the leader of the organization named Precious. On the other hand, Temujin is the leader of the Totems organization that opposes Precious and is willing to do anything, which makes Suigen worry about Rei's safety. During that time, she is imprisoned and is visited by Temujin, who informs her that she should feel at ease and that she can ask for anything she wanted. In the meantime, Tomb Raiders are looking for a new target to gain more wealth, so they find a group of players. Phoebe and Farron manage to lure the group into a trap, where the tomb robbers defeat them. Rei's friend worries about where she has gone, and Suigen promises to find her. During this time, Temujin receives a device that he intends to give to Rei, which annoys his people. The Tomb Raiders celebrate another victory, and meet a man who seems to have lost everything. Ieu approaches the man and learns that he is the leader of the generals who are one of the teams of the Precious organization. They were attacked by a woman who took everything they had. The Tomb Raiders start another raid, and while their leader is talking to the victim of the attack, a woman appears and attacks them. The rest of the team manages to surround her, but she easily captures them. Then, the leader stabs with his sword, which drains the opponent's financial power, but only works if the opponent has less money than the sword user. Then, it turns out that this woman is one of the 5 billion players, and she easily takes everything the leader had. She ends up introducing herself as the Collector, and her goal is to destroy all Tomb Raiders. Temujin gives Rei a device, and thus she becomes a member of the Totems. About a year ago, a boy named Takeshi and his sister Mikan wanted to leave their hometown and go to a better place, so they started playing Gravebuster to earn money. At present, Takeshi wants to enter the tournament, but doesn't have enough money to do so. While trying to sneak in, he encounters Suigen, who is looking for Lao Long. Suigen helps him get to the arena where Ieju fights against Viking and loses very quickly. Takeshi, wanting to get a prize in order to pay for his sister's treatment, jumps into the fray and brings Suigen with him, as well as Twin Star. Then he remembers how he used to run away from trouble all his life, and in order to get stronger, he used a book that increases one's power, but also erases some precious memories. Even with the book, he fails to win against the Viking. Suigen comes to his aid and tells him that his sister wouldn't be happy if she saw how he fights using that book. Then he decided to fight against the Viking. However, the opponent quickly captures him, and the Twin Star has to help them. Twin Star releases her immense mana, but accidentally transforms back into little kitties. Now, Takeshi is protecting them until they regain their strength. He succeeds in doing so, and the Twin Star returns to her original form, but only for a short time. because in the next moment she takes her true form, a giant two-headed dragon, and defeats the opponent in an instant. They win the prize money and give it to Takeshi to pay for his sister's treatment. Twin Star is furious at Suigen for giving him all of his prize money. When he realizes it was real money, he falls to his knees, because despite having billions in game, he is poor in real life.